Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing a review on the Madam Glam Soak Off Rubber Base Gels. Now, y'all know I only do acrylic, well I don't only, but mainly the thing that I do is acrylic, but I want to start getting more into gels. So naturally, when I go and I look for starting out in gels, I'm going to try to find something that's going to be an easy application for me. So when you're starting something new, at least for me, I don't want to be overwhelmed and go right to the difficult stuff. Everything is in steps. So Madam Glam just came out with these rubber bases, and I was looking through their website and they said these are buildable. So these would be perfect if you have taken your acrylics off and you just want a manicure. So I have 3 different colors, and they didn't have a clear, which is one thing that I was really hoping they did have, because I use rubber bases a lot. So it's familiar to me. So that's why I really gravitated towards it. I use the clear rubber bases to encapsulate stickers. So I kind of have a good feel of how the rubber bases are. So we will see how this goes. So we're going to give these a try out. And in conjunction with these, I'm going to be using their soak off base coat and their soak off top coat. And that is another plus about Madam Glam. It is a soak off base. With hard gels, they have to be fouled off. So soak offs though, you can just soak them off. So I have whipped out my handy dandy practice hand. Don't y'all mind her, she goes through it, okay? I use this when I am doing classes, and yeah, I just get a lot of use out of it. So like I said, we're basically going to be trying to achieve a basic manicure. So I've already prepped my hand, I've applied tips, I've fouled the nail plate area, and I really made sure that I went and flushed out those tips really good. I feel like that's one thing when doing gel, you really want to make sure that is flushed out. You don't want none of those bumps coming through the gel, because your gel is already going to be thin layers. So always make sure you flush this out. Now, anytime I'm doing a gel manicure, I always prep. I know a lot of people say, you know, you can just go in with the base coat and it'll be fine. But if this was a actual client, I will do like my full prep. I will push back the epinicium, go in with my cuticle bit, lightly use my sanding band and etch the nail plate. And then if you're applying tips, like I said, I will really flush this out. I will even go in and add just a little dollop of primer. And for my manicures, I just like to use the Protein Bond from Young Nails. So not nothing real heavy, just a little light primer. So just make sure you have everything dusted away. And I'm gonna go in and just add a little bit of that Protein Bond, just to make sure that you're getting a long lasting wear for the client. Anytime that I'm doing nails, from a manicure to a long full set to a short set, I always want to make sure that the quality is there. So I'm going to do all the prep that I have to. So we've got all of our prep done. So now I'm going to come in and apply my base coat. And when you're applying base coats, it does not have to be thick at all. So when I'm applying gel, I always apply it the same way, from base to application or color to top coat. I always do the same technique. And I start at the tip and I get the tip full. And then I come up here to my cuticle area. And then I push that brush back into that cuticle area. And then once I have it where I want it, I just stroke all of that base coat down. For the sides, you can turn your brush and just really bring that down. So I'm going to do that on all 3. And then I'm gonna cure this for 30 seconds. Okay, so I have that cured, and now I'm gonna do one polish at a time, just so I won't get ahead of myself. So I'm gonna start with Indonesia. And when starting with gel, first thing I'm gonna do is add a very thin layer. So that's going to be my slip layer. So I'm just gonna come in starting at the tip, and I'm gonna apply that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be thick. This is just your slip layer. So whatever I put on next is going to follow my slip layer. Okay. So now I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna start building this up. So I'm gonna come in with a thicker amount, and I'm gonna start at the cuticle area, and I'm gonna start pressing that down. So I'm gonna get it back into my cuticle area, and then once I have it built up back here, I'm gonna start just walking it down. I need a little bit more. I'm gonna start right here where I stopped. And first I'm going from side to side so it's even, and then I'll start walking it down. And I'm just moving my brush from side to side, and I'm staying on the surface of the polish. Okay. Now it's hard on my hand, but I am going to turn it over so that polish can start settling and making an apex basically. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm gonna check it from the side. Looks pretty good. So I'm gonna cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a look at it from the side and see how I like the buildup. So let me see if I can turn. There we go. Okay, so you can kind of see the beginning of an apex. And when you're doing short nails, you do not have to have such a big apex. So don't think that, you know, you have to go in and build and build and build. No, the shorter the nail is, the smaller your apex should be. So this looks good. So I'm only gonna go in and add one more layer, and that should have this built up just right. Okay, and I'm gonna do it the same way. Well, you know, I'm gonna start here. Let's do that. So I'm gonna start polishing it on now. I've built it up first with the back and forth motion, and now I'm just gonna start polishing on and building up. And I still want a little structure back here, so that's why I'm building back here. And then once I get right here, I'm gonna stroke it down. Make sure the sides are clean. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at it. Oh, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna pop that in for another 30 seconds. And so far, the self-leveling is very good. And that's what you want when you're using gel. That self-leveling, it just bounces into place. So I like that. And actually, this layer, I'm gonna cure for 60 seconds. I just wanna make sure that it is all the way cured. I'm gonna give it that extra push. Okay, so this is what we're left with. Now, I like to have a built up nail because I want to be able to come in and file it into shape. Now with gel, of course, you cannot file a whole lot because you'll remove most of your product, but I want to be able just to go in and give it just a nice shape. So here it is from the side. You can see that I have a apex right back here, and then it comes down to my tip. Now you can leave this as your base and then go in with another gel polish or just top coat it from here. And I'm just gonna keep looking at it from the side. No, it looks good. I thought it may need a little bit more, but I think it looks good. Now, if this was my base, this is fine. I could even go in over this and apply a design, and we might do that. But I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna remove the inhibition layer. So that means I'm just taking a lint-free pad with alcohol and I'm gonna rub that tacky layer off. Okay, so now I'm gonna come in with my hand file and just give it a little bit of shape. Okay, and like I said, it didn't need much, just really shaping the outer edge and just lightly going over the surface. And now I'm just gonna buff it, take out those file marks, just a light buff. No matter if it's gel or acrylic, I do not like a bumpy nail. No ma'am. So that's why I do all of these extra steps. And there you have it. There is our nail built up. And we'll go in and add a little art to this because like I said, I built up a good enough base to where I can go in and just apply art. And you can see I have my apex there and then it slopes down just right. So, and if you were doing just a cute manicure, you can go in and add your design. So we'll go in and do a quick abstract design. I had someone ask me about it, so I would throw this in here for you guys. So I'm taking my striping brush, and let me bring my little palette, and I'm going to fill that striping brush up. Now, one thing you don't want to do is have a lot of buildup on your tip. That's why you see people go in and put a lot of polish in their brush, but then they come in and stroke it out. You don't want it to be built up there. So the thing is, you have to hold the hand in position, and then when you take your brush, you really need that balance. So I'm taking my finger and I'm going to place it on this finger, and that's what's going to give me balance. So then I'm just going to come in and make some lines. And I'm really letting the brush just do it. So I'm moving it with light pressure. And as I move it, I'm just letting the bristles do all the work. So I'm going to come in and lightly. See, that tip of the brush is the only thing coming in contact with that color. Make it a little thicker. So now what I'm doing is I'm going over and over that line. I'm doing this so I can thicken it up, and also I'm looking at the outer edges of my line, and if it's not straight, I'm using this time right now to kind of straighten that up. So you want to start out thin as you can, because that way you can go back in and add more if you need to. So just like they say, you can always add, but you can't subtract. So that's why I say start out thin. Now see right there, I'm perfecting that line. I'm making it straight. So any inconsistency that you see, don't try to go over the whole thing, but just go on that line that you see and straighten that up with what you already have, because you don't want to get to where it's just it just keeps getting thicker and thicker. And really, I'm not adding a lot of gel to my brush. I'm taking what I already have on the nail and really just running it through that line. So you don't have to add a lot of polish. Try to avoid doing that also, because when you do that, of course, it's just going to get thicker and thicker. So minimal gel polish. Make sure that you are balancing your finger so that you have full balance, and always just go back and check and make sure that everything is straight. And when it's abstract, I find that it's very helpful to look at a picture for reference, because you're just following that line that they have already made instead of just going in and doing anything. For me, it's way easier like that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to bump this next color right up against this one. Not overlapping, but right up against it. Just like that. And when you have too much, go in and just keep brushing it through, because then that will distribute that color down to what you already have. Other side. And see, it's just about looking and seeing what you have and perfecting that without adding so much. So I'm going to make sure I don't have a lot on my brush, because I want to just distribute what I already have and make it straight. And sometimes you will have to overlap if you mess up. You can go in and clean it up if you want to, but that's fine. And that's why it's so important to cure. I could go in with a small detailer brush and just clean off that line that kind of overlapped my first one. And the only way that is possible is if you cured that first layer. So that's very helpful. You don't have to worry so much about getting your lines perfect, because you can always come in and clean them up with a little bit of acetone and a detailer brush. So this polish is called Vietnam, and this one out of all of them, I really love the color the most. It is a perfect color for fall. So to kind of sum it up, y'all, these polishes from Madam Glam claim to be a more flexible rubber base. So it's going to be stronger than just a regular base coat. So it is meant for manicures. It is to make your manicures last even longer. And as you can see, we were able to build it up. So if you have a little bit more length, you can build these up and just use these as your straight base. I noticed when I cured for 60 seconds, they did come out very hot. So I can imagine it was some heat spikes when they were under the lamp. Now I have a Sun UV. That one does have the option to go 120 seconds where the heat gradually turns up. So that might be a good option when you're using these. But as far as the application, I felt like it was very easy to apply. I love hard gels, rubber bases, any kind of gel that is in a bottle form. I just feel like it is so much easier. And as far as the durability, they felt very strong. I didn't feel like they would break. So these would be perfect for your everyday manicure. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.